Hola, clase. Senior Boyle here. And I just want to take today and review this quiz. And there's a couple problems with it. We'll talk about those little problems and hopefully we'll understand what's going on. So I'm just going to go through it now. If you haven't taken this quiz, it was an assignment for last Thursday, the 7th, and today's Monday, the 11th. So today's lesson will just be you listening to this, going through it. And then all I want you to do is do the exit ticket saying, yes, I went through it and I did it. So I know that you watched this. So you have to watch the whole thing because there's information in it that I'll ask you about. So it's not like you can just do the exit ticket. You have to know what you're talking about. So, okay, let's get right into it. I'm just going to put my email address in here and automatically fills that in. I'll just pretend that I'm in from period one. All right, when would you use the preterite? Check all that are true. I would use the preterite if I wanted to talk about what happened. Yes, this is an event. Describe how I felt. Yeah, probably not because how you felt is not really an event unless if you got mad and you wanted to say, "Hey, I became angry." But if you just want to say, "I was sad," that's not really the preterite. Series events, definitely. Talk about when something began or ended. Yep. Tell someone what I used to do when I was young. Well, what I used to do is over and over again, and preterite is used for single events, so don't click this box. To tell you about something that took place once. Yes. Tell you about something that happened over and over again, and I don't know how many times it happened. No, because preterite has to do with specific events that take place, and we know when they took place, and we know how many times they took place. So don't click that. And tell you if I liked something. And it should say if I liked something that you did or something that happened. It shouldn't say I liked something that I did. Um, I went to a movie and I liked it. I could say that, and that's preterite. Okay. Next one. Whom is the speaker referring to? Well, this is not a great question. It should be worded a little bit differently. The point is this: in the first person singular, I am going to use the yo form. Okay, so first person singular is yo. If I say I'm referring to myself. So the speaker is referring to himself or herself. Okay, so me would be me, you would be two. So it's not a great question. So if you got it wrong, don't feel bad. I think you know what we're talking about. As long as you know what first person singular is yo, that's the whole point of this. Okay. I apologize if you got it wrong and you were like, I know what that is. And that's a bad question. So uh, I'll fix it for next time. Whom is the speaker referring to? This is a little easier to understand. Whom is the speaker referring to when speaking in the second person singular? They're speaking in the to form, right? So I'm referring to you, and so you'd click this. Whom is the speaker referring to in the third person singular? To him or her. Uh, First person plural, to us. First person plural would be in the nosotros form. Second person plural is vosotros, so that would be you all. Third person plural is ellos, ellas, ustedes, so it would be them. Okay, so yeah, these are not great questions. I should revise those and make them a little bit better. Anyway, here's what I really probably what I should do is delete these questions and just stick with these. All right, so select the first person singular pronoun. First person singular is yo. Okay. Second person singular is tu. First person plural. Think of the chart. It's the top row of the chart on the plural column. That's nosotros. Why does my mouse pointer keep disappearing? I hate that. Third person singular is él, ella, usted. Third person plural, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Now, some people forget about ustedes. Ustedes means you all. It's formal, but it is third person, not second person. And usted is also third person, happens to be singular, but a lot of times people forget that usted is part of the third person singular form, el, ella, usted. Okay, next one. Second person plural. It's in the chart. It's the first row is first person, second row is second person. It's on the plural side. That is vosotros. It does happen to be informal. And it is used in Spain, but that's what it is. All right, so we got the pronoun, excuse me, pronouns out of the way. Select the correct ending for regular preterite for AR verbs. All right, in the to form, it would be aste. In the L form, it's o. Ustedes is Aaron. Ella is the same as el, right? El, ella, and usted. We could use these three are going to be in the o column. Nosotros would be amos. Yo is e accent or e. Ellos is the same as ustedes because it's third person plural. So that would be Aaron. Ellas is Aaron. And vosotros is astes. Did that make sense? I think you did pretty well on that. All right, next part. ERIR verbs, same thing. To form is iste. El is yo. Ustedes oyeron. Ella, yo. Usted, yo. Nosotros, imos. Yo, y. Ellos, oyeron. Ellas, oyeron. Vosotros is isteis. Okay. What spelling changes do you have to make in the preterite when the verb ends with car, gar, zar? Car would turn to K, and there is an accent. What? Okay, this question requires one response per row. Gar turns to ge with an accent. Sar turns to se with an accent. We have choices with and without accents here. Select the preterite conjugation that belongs to the infinitive verb. Now, this question was also kind of had some flaws, and some students pointed this out to me. And the flaw is that this probably should not say doesn't belong here. What this should say is something like there's no verb to match this ending. Okay, and some of these, I'm sorry, this verb there's no infinitive for this verb form because some of these are actually non-existent, like dio accent. That doesn't even, there's no such thing as that. It's dio with no accent mark. Okay, so with dar, you shouldn't click this because the conjugation isn't dio accent, it's just dio. So you should click this for that one. So the answer is this. It shouldn't say doesn't belong here. It should say that this verb or this question should say something like invalid or does not match with any of these verbs. Okay, so fuiste goes with ser and ir. D goes with dar. Dio doesn't go here. Vieron is ver. Hizo is hacer. Hago is not preterite. This is preterite, right? The question is select the preterite conjugation. So for hago, I have to say it doesn't belong here. Hiciste, that does go with hacer. Soy is not preterite. So I'm going to say that doesn't belong here. Fue goes with ser and ir. Vimos is ver. And we got a couple more here. Wow, I should have been able to fit all on one page. Anyway, hicimos is hacer, second column. Hice, well, this is spelled wrong. That doesn't belong here because hice is Hice and hizo is Hizo. So maybe in a better test or a better review, I would get rid of these misspelled things that are misleading. But I just wanted to see how sharp people were, to see if you really know them. And so here we are on an online test that's really not even a test, it's just a review. It gives us a chance to talk about it. It gives us a chance to say, oh gee, do I really know them that well? And maybe I can improve my questions, but really, do you know what you're talking about? All right, fueron is also ser and ir. Voy is not preterite, and hicisteis is the verb hacer. Okay, so those are correct. Next one, true or false? All verbs that stem change in the present have a stem change in the preterite. False. Now, all verbs that are IR with a stem change in the preterite have a stem change in the preterite. Sorry, let me say that again. All IR verbs that have a stem change in the present have a stem change in the preterite. But not all verbs, because AR verbs never stem change in the preterite, and ER verbs never stem change in the preterite. So it's a little tricky question, but the answer is false. If a verb has an E to IE, now a lot of people ask me about this question. Think about what I'm trying to say here. Maybe there's a way we can improve this question so that it's a little bit easier to understand. And maybe you could message me if you have a suggestion for this. If a verb has an E to IE stem change in the present tense, what's the stem change in the preterite? Well, instead of E to IE, it is going to be E to I. So maybe what I should have done was, to improve this question, maybe I should have put E to I in the answer instead of just an I. So what do you think about that? Let me know what you think about that. If a verb has an O to UE stem change in the present, what's the stem change in the preterite? It's U. It's O to U, right? If a verb has E to I stem change in the present, what's the stem change in the preterite? Well, it's still E to I. Okay. Next part. In which form or forms of the IR verb do you have to make the stem change? All right. So the problem with this question is that it goes with these, and it should be able to stand on its own, and it can't, because what we're talking about is IR stem changing verbs, and you can figure that out, but the question does not include enough information for it to stand on its own 2 feet. So it really should say, in which forms of the IR verb, the IR stem changing verb, do you have to make the stem change? That would be the perfect way. And the answer is third person singular and third person plural only, right? Remember that we do not change the stem in the yo or the tu form or the nosotros and vosotros form. We only make these 3 stem changes in the el, ella, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes forms, okay? See if you have a suggestion about this question, how I can improve it. Maybe it's simply as simple as putting the word stem change here. Okay, next part. Match the present with the preterite in all appropriate situations. I couldn't figure out how else to ask this. I wanted to make sure that people understood that les, me, te, they have nothing to do with the ending. Okay, les has to do with them. Me is me, but gusta and gustan match up with either gusto or gustado. And so with gusto, every time you see gusta, you're going to click because it's singular. The item is singular. So I could put a singular noun or an activity after les gusta or les gustó. Okay, with gustaron, anything that's plural, or I put a plural noun after that, I'm going to put a click. I'm going to click a box, and so it goes like this. Hope that makes sense. What is the irregular form, irregular stem for decir, D-I-J? What's the irregular stem for traer, T-R-A-J? Those are just stems, right? We taught those two by themselves. Select all the appropriate endings that are used for decir and traer in the preterite. All right, so we have e, iste, o, imos, istes. It's not there. And it's not ieron, it's eron. No accent marks on any of these. I, iste, o, imos, istes, eron. I'm sorry, that's wrong. That is so wrong. It's not E, it's E. You feel like you're back in school, right? Senior Boyle's making mistakes again. It happens. All right. Dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, dijisteis, dijeron. All right. So those are the endings. Next part. All right. Verbs like creer, leer, oír. What two rules do you have to remember? And this was just a specific section in the notes. There were two rules. And those two rules are that spelling changes happen in the third person. We add a Y, and then we have accent marks on the I when it's in the ending. So the answer is this. Next part, select the appropriate stem for the infinitive. All right, so what's the appropriate stem for tener? It is tuv. What's the appropriate stem for andar? Anduv. Aber is ub. Estar is estuv. Poder is pud. Now we have several that don't have one yet because this is either not an irregular stem or doesn't belong. And this question is not perfect either because this should not say not an irregular stem because HIC is an irregular stem, but not for any of these. So what this should say is this stem is either incorrect or doesn't belong. It should say that. So I apologize for that. If we got some of these wrong because of that, I'm sorry. Remember that I'm not grading you like a quiz. It's a non-quiz. So it's just review. All right. I hope that you remembered something good and positive from that. Now, pus is also a stem changing. I'm sorry, it's an irregular stem, but it's not an irregular stem for any of these verbs. Okay. Next part. Select all 6 of the following endings that are used in the irregular stems from the previous question. So, irregular stems for andar, tener, haber, estar, poder, and there's a whole bunch of other ones too that I didn't even ask you about that are in that list. So, maybe I should have asked you for those. Who knows? I don't want to make this too long. All right, so select all 6. All right, how many do we have here? A whole bunch. So, it's it's A, iste, oh, no accent. Imos, istes, ieron this time. Okay, so ambulances and fire trucks have been going by like crazy. And now my dog is howling. Wow. Okay, next part. Special meaning in the preterite. This is a section. For this section, read the description of the special meaning that certain verbs take on when they're in the preterite. For example, decided to is a special meaning in the preterite. We want to know what the infinitive verb is for this special meaning. Type the infinitive verb, don't conjugate. So decided to is preferir. If you say preferimos ver esa película, you're saying we decided to see that film instead of saying we preferred. It does mean you preferred, but it really means you did it. Refused is no querer. Do not want in the preterite means you refused. Remember the baby food analogy? You're trying to feed the baby. The baby didn't want to eat, but really the baby refused to eat. It helps us understand that. Wasn't present is no estar. Tried and succeeded. Poder, to be able, right? If I was able to do something and I did it, I tried and succeeded. Meant to, but didn't actually do it is querer. Met a person, conocer. Tried and failed, no poder. Arrived, showed up, estar. Found out, learned about, saber. Received, got, tener. And how do you say there was or there were? Ubo. All right, let's see if I submit this. I'm probably going to have to wait. Yeah, your response has been recorded. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through your tests and I will release some grades. But really, the thing of it is that the grades may not really reflect your real knowledge, which means that the test was not perfect, right? There were problems with it, and students helped me figure out some of those. But um, if you did the quiz, you get a 3 out of 3. Boom. No matter how many you got wrong. Okay. Because remember, it's a non-test and it was for review purposes. So all right, you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.